Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, thank you for checking me out. My name is Melissa. I'm a third-year student registered nurse anesthetist. I'm graduating from my CRNA program in about 2.5 months. Since I've done nearly 3,000 hours of clinical, I thought it would be fun to jump on and share with you all my top 5 tips to help you survive your CRNA School Clinicals. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you want to follow along. I've posted a lot of my journey of how I got into CRNA school back when I was a nurse, some nursing vlogs, nursing tips. You'll see videos like this along with other videos that are more like weekly vlogs and daily vlogs. So with that being said, let's jump right into this video. My first tip is to have your room set up the same every single time and to use some type of mnemonic. I like MS Made to help you make sure you have everything ready for your cases. I found that even now, a senior, almost gonna graduate, I have 8 weeks left of clinical at this point, I will still forget little things if I do not do the MS Made before I leave the room. So what it stands for is machine, so checking your machine, making sure it passes the check, there's nothing wrong with it. S is suction, making sure you have your suction set up, very, very important. The other M is for monitors, so anything like your pulse ox being on, your EKG leads being ready to go, esophageal temp probe, making sure you have any additional wires, if you have like an A-line, if you're going to be doing an A-line or like clear site monitoring, making sure you have that, a biz, anything of that nature. A airway, big one. So having a tube ready to go, making sure you have backup tubes of different sizes in your cart, an LMA if you're using that, oral airway, tongue blade, lubricant, bite blocks if you need those, your laryngoscope if you're going to be DLing, so using direct vision, or if you are anticipating difficult airway, maybe have the glide scope available, making sure you have a bougie in the room or some type of other device to assist you. So IV, have an additional IV kit ready to go. You never know if you're gonna lose an IV or if positioning is gonna be weird. If you're gonna tuck the arms, you might wanna throw another IV in. Sometimes depending on the position, or if it's an AC, you're gonna lose your IV, so make sure you have a kit ready to go. Drugs, obviously have all the drugs you might need for the case if you're anticipating that you'll need something that is not already in your room. Like the facility I'm at right now, we don't have an Omnicell or Pyxis in the room, we just get carts, little boxes that we bring in. So if I need anything additional that's not in there, like vasopressin, norepinephrine, albumin, bicarb, if you're anticipating needing anything like that, make sure you have it in your room and ready to go. And it's not a bad idea just to check your box too if you have something like that, or check your cart in the morning to make sure you have all the medications that you'll need for your case. And I think the last S just stands for special, so anything additional you might need, like an arterial line setup, if you're gonna need to put in like an OG tube, if you're doing like a bariatric case and you're using a special OG, just check and make sure you have anything special that you might need, or like bear hugger ready to go, additional pumps if you might be running a TIVA, or you think you're gonna need to start a phenylephrine drip if you don't just do like micro drip tubing or one of the dials, you might need to make sure that you have a pump in the room ready to go. So anything special. My second tip is when you're in clinical, do what you're uncomfortable with when you're paired and only what you're comfortable with if you're not paired. You'll find out that a lot of facilities, some facilities don't pair you with the CRNA, so you'll be running your own rooms where you are basically being the CRNA. You're just with a physician anesthesiologist who is going to come for induction and leave. So in those cases, you want to stick with what you're comfortable with. If something comes up that you have a question about, call your doctor. If you just try and do the same thing every case, so don't veer off. This isn't the time to be trying new wake-up techniques or experimenting with new medications that you aren't super familiar with how they're gonna work for your anesthetic. So I say my rule of thumb is if I'm at a site like that where I'm not paired, I'm very consistent with my anesthetic and I'm not afraid to reach out if I'm uncomfortable with something. And then on the flip side, when you are with a CRNA, do all the things that you're uncomfortable with. If someone offers you the chance to do like a trauma or a heart or a crazy new case that you've never heard of, or even do a central line, flow a pacemaker, really anything that you might be a little uncomfortable with, just ask them, you know, can I take a minute to look it up if you're not super familiar, or if you are, just absolutely do it. Take advantage of every instance, because this is the time where you can really learn and be very not vulnerable, but transparent, I guess, and just take all of these opportunities if someone offers them to you. If you're uncomfortable, this is the time to do it, because you are going to be a sole provider one day, and it's important to try and really hone in on these skills and learn all these new things when you're in a teaching environment and not kind of when you're on your own. Even if it's doing a line, ask if you can scrub it and assist with the line, or if they'll scrub in with you and assist you if that is an option as well. So that's my second tip. The third one is dealing with mean preceptors. There was one facility facility I was at for about 3 months that the CRNAs were very, very mean. Most of them, I think there was only a handful that were nice, and I was with a different person every day, so it was really difficult to kind of build rapport and learn what the CRNA is like, because you'll find if you're at smaller sites it's really easy to find who you're compatible with, and our personalities are not all the same. So there are going to be CRNAs that you really, really vibe with and you love everything they do, and other CRNAs where you don't understand how their anesthetic works and you just don't take from their from that day, and you don't put those things in your tool belt to use when you're on your own. I remember one day I came in, I thought I was super prepared for my case. I had looked it up, I had so much set up, ready to go, and the CRNA walks in and looks around and goes, well, I think your setup's pretty poor. And I was like, well, that just set the tone for the day. But she just wasn't a nice person, and I tried not to take it personally. And if there's ever something that really is bothering you or something that happens, please reach out to like your instructors. At least at my facility, they're very open to talk to us, and they want to find out if there are people who treat us certain ways or facilities that may not be that conducive to learning. And if you ever have a really bad experience, please just reach out to me. You can send me a message on Instagram or my email. I'm more than happy to talk you through your bad days, because I have been there and it sucks. But just remember that is, you know, however many hours of a shift, if it's a 12-hour, 10-hour out of your probably like 2,000, 3,000 clinical hours. So just move on. That day's a wash. It doesn't matter. You're gonna have plenty of experience. Some people are just mean. It's probably not anything to do with you. If you feel like you prepared and were ready to provide safe care, that's all that matters. My fourth tip is know at least the basics and anything weird that's gonna happen in the case that you're doing that day. If it's like a trach, know that you wanna have the little tube adapter ready to go, because you're gonna have to hand the circuit over the drapes to the surgeon when they're ready to hook up the trach. Or if it's a bariatric case, depending on what it is, you might not be able to put in an esophageal temp probe because it could really interfere with the case. So, or that you're gonna have to, if you're doing an airway case, know that you need to lower your oxygen because there's a potential for airway fire. And in a case like that, you wanna have saline in the room, like on your anesthesia machine in case there's an airway fire. Just at least knowing the basics and the nuances of your case are gonna go a long way with building rapport with your CRNA and just making your case go smoothly, because a lot of cases can be really cut and dry. Go to sleep, you know, they do like the plane analogy. So takeoff, maintenance, landing, induction, maintenance, emergence, it's all it gets pretty standard, but there are some cases that have nuances. So know at least those for your cases and it'll make your day a lot better. My fifth and final tip is probably maybe equally as important as the first one I said, and that's prioritize sleep and food. You do not want to be trying to place a spinal or epidural when you have the weird caffeine hunger shakes, because believe me, you're going to be nervous enough and you're already going to be shaking, so it's just going to make it much worse. And really it's big to prioritize sleep, because what we're doing in clinical, you can really hurt someone. You could kill someone by giving the wrong medication. I heard of a case where CRNA grabbed, they thought they were grabbing the Zofran, and they actually grabbed a 10 milligram vial of phenylephrine and gave that entire thing to the patient, which if you're familiar with medications, that is a very bad day. They saw EKG rhythms that they said they had they didn't even know existed. You want to be able to, you know, really have all of your wits about you and not make a mistake that could be very preventable. So try and get at least 7 hours of sleep. I know you have exams and stuff and life gets in the way. A lot of people have kids, families, but you are taking care of people in a whole new way than you did with nursing. So I just really can't exaggerate enough how important it is to try and get as much sleep as you can before clinical. And if you come in and you don't feel 100% and you're in like a big case or something, just be transparent and talk to them and be like, I don't know if this is the right place for me today, or whatever it is. You just want to always do what's going to be best for the patient, number one, and for you. You don't want to have a bad day because you got bad sleep and now you're like making little mistakes, because it's just gonna hurt you and you're gonna feel like you're not functioning or not like at the level you should be, when it's really just you need more sleep. And the same thing with food. I swear anytime I miss like an A-line or an IV, it's because I just haven't had breakfast. So try and at least get in like a banana or protein bar or granola bar, something before you start, and it's gonna make it a lot smoother. So those are my top 5 tips to help you survive your CRNA school clinicals. Thank you all so much for watching. We post new videos on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. so you can fall asleep with Propofol Diaries. Good night.